Annyeong, it's Mikey here with another video this week. And again, thank you all for constantly supporting this channel. Seriously, can't thank you enough how far this channel has come. Now, I'm excited to thank, well, actually I have a lot of people I have to thank for this one. It's going to be Chilkey, it's going to be Melectrix, and it's going to be Wuche Studio. Reason being, they're working together and they've been trying to promote this board, which is the ND-LP. So it's Chilkey's low profile board, the first ever, and yeah, I mean, I'm excited. This is my first ever low profile, except for the Newfie Air, the Hall Effect board, but first mechanical low profile keyboard, and I'm actually quite excited to try it. I really wanted to try a low profile, never really got the chance to yet, so let's go straight into the unboxing and let's take a look at this board and see what it's like. So please make sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps this channel. Now, starting with the unboxing of the ND-LP, and again guys, I hope you had all a very Merry Christmas. Now thank you again to Wuche Studio, Melectrix, and Chilkey, because they sent this out, and what a great time to do an unboxing of a board that I've never tried before, a low profile, on the day after Christmas. Now it comes with a cable from Chilkey. It's their special cable that they always do. There's an extra low profile switches, which is really nice. You also get an extra ribbon cable and USB dongle, and of course switch puller, keycap puller. Also, one thing interesting about this is that they also give you this rest. Now the reason I say rest is it's not really a wrist rest, because it's just not great. Sorry, so I just had to laugh there for a moment. Sorry, the way that I was testing that, it's actually made out of like silicone. So now let's take a look at the board itself. I'm actually quite excited because this is my first ever low profile keyboard. Now, this thing looks sleek. Like, I actually love this design. I asked them if I could try out the gray color because I thought it was really nice. Now, we're going to open it up and take a full look of this board. Now, I gotta admit though, I think Chilkey does a really good job in terms of the design of the boards, and this board is actually so nice. Like, it's actually so nice. I'm actually quite impressed of how they did this low profile. Now, one thing I was kind of surprised about when I was holding it is the back doesn't feel like a low profile. Like, it's very interesting. It seems like it's almost like a non-low profile, but it's small and thin, so like compared to regular size. Like right now, that's the Newfie board that I have. It's actually the Newfie 75, which is a low profile board, and as you can see, right, like the back port is thicker. Now I'm gonna explain to you a little bit later of what that actually is. So let's weigh this board, of course, before we go right into a sound test, and let's see how much this weighs. So it's 1.3 kg, and let's do a sound test. So now that we've done the sound test, let's open this up. It's actually really easy. this is actually made of pure magnets. Now, isn't that really interesting? This is a full magnetic mount. I was quite surprised. I didn't know what they meant originally, but this whole case is full magnet. And they give you this foam on the back of the PCB. So you have a back of the PCB foam. And as you can see, that is the way that the PCB is for the switches, so where the pins would go. So this board doesn't work with the Kali switches. So like low-free, Newfie switches would not work with this board. This is actually more of the MX style in terms of the pins. And as you can see right there, those are the magnets. It's actually quite strong. Even if you're holding it up, it will not fall off. It's a very, very, very strong magnet. Like, I was quite impressed of how strong this magnet was, and really impressed with this whole build in general. Like, this is a world first fully magnetic mount with a low profile board, and this is a full aluminum case, which is really incredible. Like, I have to admit, really great quality in terms of this board. Now, as you can see there, the battery is going to be two 1800 milliamp hour batteries, so total 3600 milliamps. So it's not the same like battery size as say a normal board, but you still get 3600 milliamp hour battery, which is still decent and more than enough with this low profile board, of course. And I think, yeah, I mean, in general so far, except for the fact that you can't really get other switches for this, I really do like this. I mean, you can get the Gateron ones, so that's something to note, right? You'll be able to actually get Gateron switches, the low profile switches, and they would work because their pins is actually MX style, but you wouldn't be able to use any of the Kali ones. And this is something that I really think needs to be more unified, right? Like, more other companies shouldn't be constantly changing up what they're doing. It really should be more of a uniform of what's going on. Now, as this is a teardown, it's super simple, right? We're just going to quickly do a test of the sound without any foam on the back, right? Just an empty bottom plate, and we'll do a quick sound test. Then what we'll do is we'll do a modding of it. So just note that was with the loop switches. Looping these switches was quite hard. I'm going to tell you now, like, opening up low profile switches is not a difficult thing. You actually don't use a switch opener to do it, but be careful, because if the spring flies out, which it could, it really is a pain to find it. This one, I only had to do one layer of the tape mod because there isn't really a ton of space in there, because you're not screwing it on. You can't really change the mounting, right? Like, you can't use the screws to change the mounting. So I was like, you know what, let's just be safe. Go with one single layer of tape mod, and then of course put the foam on top of there. So I'm just doing one single tape mod and then the foam, and we're going to put this whole keyboard back together, which is, again, this is incredibly simple, right? Like, anyone that's looking for a low profile board really should look at this board. This thing is incredibly simple to modify if you need to. The switches, I know that you won't be able to try other switches though, so that is something, of course, a big thing to note for yourself, right? If you are wanting to try more different low profile switches, specifically from Kali, who has been really, I would say, one of the name brands in terms of low profile switches. But, you know, I gotta admit, this board still is super incredible. I really like it. But of course, we're going to do another modification, which is going to be the spacebar, because I felt like the spacebar felt a little bit hollow in terms of the sound. So best thing I do is use my car sound dampener, right? We're going to put that in the spacebar. I find that it always, like, you don't have to put a ton in there. Just put some in there to weigh it down a bit, and then it should get rid of a lot of that hollowy sound. Now, another thing I'm going to do is just quickly put a little bit of lube in the stabilizers, because I felt like the stabilizers were lacking a bit of lube, and there was some ticking sounds from there. I find some of the stabilizers are actually a bit mushy too. So that's something also to note, is the stabilizers on this board are not perfect. Chilkey doesn't really do great stabilizers. So let me just show you what I meant earlier. So this is not a wrist rest. As you can see, it's way too short. It's actually meant to be on the back of the keyboard. Let me give you a little bit of sound test with it. Now let me show you a quick comparison without the thing on, without the rest on the back. Now, as I was saying, this doesn't really work as a wrist rest. It's way too short. The only way would be if you move the wrist rest a little bit further backwards, as you can see right there. They really could have made this a little bit longer. Honestly, they had more than enough space to make this a little bit longer. I think that would have been the way to go, because this keyboard, like low profile keyboards, I find for some people a wrist rest is really required, right? Like to get a really comfy ergonomic angle, you kind of need it. But as you can see that there's still a lot of space in between there from once you put it in the back to give yourself a little bit of a lift to get a higher angle. There is some space there that they could have made it longer. I think instead what they could have done is make it a little bit thinner to the front and actually bring it down. It would have really helped. Now, this is a full palm switch that they've done, and it does sound pretty good. It's a little bit clacky. It's not a deep thought that maybe some might like, but it is a decent switch. Like, I actually really like it with this keyboard. It's just unfortunate that you can't try the Kali switches. I've actually purchased them and tried to put it in. It doesn't work. Now let me give you the software. So the software, you just have to go into Chilkey's website. You can go all the way, scroll down and look for the Chilkey console. So when you click on the Chilkey console, it will lead you to this site, and that's where you can look and click on it. And it'll actually be a web app. So Chilkey is using a web app for the ND-LP. Now, I was doing a little bit of testing, so you just have to make sure to connect. If you don't connect, it won't show up and you won't be able to modify your board and customize it. But one thing I did notice originally, I did have an issue with this board in terms of changing the bottom right hand side where the function key is and the control is. Now, I like to put Alt, and unfortunately it didn't work. I actually reached out to Chilkey and they were able to fix it for me in 30 minutes. So they're really working on this, which is something I'm very impressed with. This is something, another thing I need to know of is, unfortunately you can't see the lighting on the screen that you're trying to make changes. You have to look at your board. Unfortunately, the single on doesn't work, and for the static, you have to uncheck the colorful or it does not work. And you also are able to make modifications to your interactive screen there easily. So these are small things to note. The software isn't perfect. Unfortunately, the lighting, the RGB is not perfect either, but Chilkey is making changes. They're working on it, and it's great to see that they're actually taking feedback and making the fixes that are required. Now, I just want to give you guys a quick keyboard inspector to show you, how is the polling rate on this board, right? Can you use it for gaming, and how is it? Now, sorry there, I was just too quick to click, but as you can see there, this is still a 1000 hertz keyboard, which is more than enough for gaming. So keep in mind, if you're looking for something that's low profile and you want something that's simple to use, this could work for you, especially if you're looking for something that's more affordable, because this board is only about 105 USD, which is really not bad when you consider the competitors, right? Like Newfie has their boards for around 110 to 150, and so does Lofree. Lofree's boards, some of them go for really, really pricey, about 150 to 160. This is a really great alternative. And as you can see there, I'm comparing this with the Newfie Air75 HE, low profile keyboard. The front is the same width, right? You're getting the same width. It's just the side angle. Now, I actually learned what difference it was. Chilkey's low profile board on the back is actually the same height as the Newfie, with the angle foot, like the feet, all the way to the max height. So that's when I realized, oh, that's how they built this low profile. So it is a low profile, just that the angle is actually much higher for ergonomic purposes, and it's actually pretty good. Like, it works well. I was quite surprised with that, and I really think this board is great. Like, I love this magnetic mount. It's super, super good. I enjoyed playing games with this. the fact is I could change the angle a little bit higher so it was a little bit more comfortable using it. Of course, I think, again, I really wish they just made that wrist rest a little bit longer. Would have really, really helped. And honestly, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think that they should have actually just went with the same, like the pin mounting as the Cali, or should they have stayed with the MX style? That is something I'm not sure if what's right, right? I honestly think that instead of that, all companies should really just go with one universal pin. By having different pins, it only makes this so much more difficult for consumers. And the idea of a keyboards was that it's easier to customize, right? Like you're able to look at different companies, purchase many switches, customize it the way you want. And by having companies do this, it just makes it really, really tough because then you split up the market and people aren't able to really do what they're hoping to do with their boards. Now, this whole board though, the build quality of it truly, I think, is really good. I think if you're looking for a low profile, right, specifically one that is more affordable and is really built with good quality, I would say this is going to be your pick. All right. Unfortunately, I haven't tried the other low profile boards except like my coworkers, Newfie. They had the Newfie, I believe, Air 75, and I am going to be trying out the Low Freeze Lite. But considering those prices, which this is going to be the same price set, this is a full aluminum board, and it's actually really good. What did you guys think of this low profile board from Chilkey? I mean, this is super cool. Like, the fact is, this is probably going to be the first ever low profile keyboard that has a full aluminum frame that is magnetically assembled. This magnetic assembly is actually incredibly cool. Super easy to take apart. One thing though, this is a different switch style. It's more towards the cherry profile, like the MX style switches, than a regular low profile switch, which, you know, Cali or Kale, Low Free, Newfie, like all of them are doing a different style of it, and it will not fit in this board. I really wanted to try different switches, different low profile switches. Unfortunately, this is not going to work with this board. This switch, though, would work in, say, a different mechanical keyboard, though, while the other switches would not. So I really hope they actually kind of get like a standard for low profile switches. It really should match the MX style switches, I think. I don't see why they're trying to do something of their own, and it just makes it harder for the consumer, right? Like, think about the consumer is what I would say to the businesses, is make sure like this one works, right? And it works well. Why try something different and make it proprietary, meaning people have to really focus on just only getting things from what you're making, and it doesn't help, right? People want to be able to customize their boards, and it would be nice to have a lot of different options available. I really have enjoyed this board. It is interesting. It is kind of thick for a low profile, but you guys saw my photos in the video where it's showing comparative to like the Newfie one. It's actually just like if you were to put the Newfie stand all the way up, it'd be the same as this one. I mean, I don't have I have only my Newfie Air 75 HE, which is a little bit different. So let me just show you guys. So let me show you guys more again in the camera. If I were to put this all the way up, you would now get more of a similar height. So that's the original height of this board, right? Like they made it so that they've pretty much just made it so that it's the same height as one with the ankle. Now they give you like that wrist rest. It's not a wrist rest. It's literally, as I showed you guys, it's something you put in the back. I'm gonna be honest. I think would have been nice to have it a bit longer so that it could be used as a wrist rest at the same time, right? It's too short. It's super awkward, like incredibly awkward. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a low profile, this is at the same price as the other competitors, and I think this is a better quality and build. I haven't gotten to try all of them yet though, but like I've tried my friends, right? Like they own Newfies, and I've gotten to see theirs and tried it a little bit, and I would say this is just a better quality. It's just a full aluminum build that just really speaks for itself. So you can go check it out in the links below. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be excited to keep trying this out. So I'll catch you guys next time. Please check out the other videos I got.